Right now, in this very instant, as you hear my voice, something inside your body has already begun to change. You don't need to believe me. You don't need to understand it. And you certainly don't need to strive for it. Because before your mind even attempts to analyze what's happening, your body, your soul, already knows. You may have felt a slight shiver, a small pulse in your chest, a vibration barely perceptible in your hands. That is not a coincidence. That is divine synchronicity. You are here because somewhere in your life, perhaps in the middle of pain, of weariness, or that feeling of, I can't take it anymore, you made a silent request. A whisper you might not even remember, but the universe does. And today, that request is being answered. Listen closely. Your cells have been waiting for this moment for years. Your DNA has been awaiting this instruction. Your spirit has been anticipating this return. What you're about to hear is not a technique. It's not a motivational trick. It's not just another message. It is a code the ancient custodians of consciousness guarded for centuries. A code Napoleon Hill hinted at in his deepest writings when he said, "When a student is ready, the teacher appears." And today, here, now, the teacher is not me. The teacher is that part of you that you had forgotten. Your divine self. Your original self. Your self designed to heal. As you listen to these words, your body has already begun to reorganize. Your cells are starting to align as if remembering an ancient melody, a melody written by God himself when he said, "Let there be light." And that light, that same light, is now entering you. I want you to notice something. It doesn't matter how much pain you've carried, how many times you felt broken, how many times life has knocked you to the ground. If you're listening to this, you are not defeated. You are awakening. Let me ask you a question only the soul answers. Do you feel that this was for you? Yes or no? Because if your heart said yes, then prepare yourself. What comes next is going to rewrite your story. Before we continue, I want you to do something very simple. Breathe and allow yourself to feel. Because this part isn't theory. This part is you. There are pains that don't show up on medical scans, but live in the soul. There are exhaustions that don't come from the body, but from the weight of carrying what you keep silent. And there are wounds that don't bleed on the skin, but remain open inside. You know it. Your heart knows it. You've had days where you get up as if nothing's wrong, but inside, you're crumbling. You've had nights where your pillow knows your fears better than any human being. And yet, you're still here, breathing, fighting, trying. But I also know something else. I know you're tired. Tired of being strong. Tired of no one noticing that you also need to be held up. Tired of carrying a diagnosis as if it were a life sentence. Tired of pain having a louder voice in your life than hope. Maybe the doctor told you, you'll have to learn to live with it. Maybe they said, it's genetic, it's chronic, it is what it is. And you nodded your head, but inside, a small spark screamed, and no, this can't be the end. That spark is the life inside you. It is God reminding you that you haven't yet seen your true version. Let me ask you something, and answer it only within yourself. How many times have you pretended to be okay, so as not to worry anyone? How many times have you smiled at the world while inside you were fading? How many times have you gone to bed simply wishing to wake up without pain? You're not alone. Thousands live this every day, but few accept it, and even fewer speak of it. You, in silence, have fought battles no one knows. Internal battles, emotional battles, spiritual battles, battles that wore you down not because you were weak, but because you never had a safe place to let go. I want you to imagine your life from above. You see yourself walking, working, trying. And behind you, like a silent shadow, walks your pain. But in front of you, there's a light. A light you hadn't seen because you were looking down for too long. That light turns on today. That light is you without fear. You without burden. You without illness. You remembering your original design. And today, this message arrives to tell you something perhaps no one ever has. You're not broken. You are exhausted. And you are ready to heal. Now that your soul is open, now that your heart has let a little of its armor fall, now that your body has begun to listen in silence, the moment has come to reveal to you something very few people in the world know. And before I say it, I want you to understand something very profound. You did not arrive here by chance. You arrived because you were ready centuries ago, long before modern medicine existed. The ancient schools of wisdom, those that trained prophets, healers, and masters, guarded a principle so powerful it was only taught to initiates. Not because it was dangerous, but because most were not prepared to comprehend it. Today, you are prepared. What you are about to hear is the code that connects your physical body with your spiritual body, your DNA with your consciousness, your faith with your biology. The Essenes called it the ear of the soul. The Egyptians knew it as the inner gate. Christian mystics named it the hearing of the heart. And Napoleon Hill, without speaking of physical healing, described this exact principle when he said, "There is within you a silent voice that, if you learn to listen to it, will guide you to any destination, even to perfect health." Do you see? The key was always to listen, but not to listen with the ears, to listen with your heart, with your energy field, with the 50 trillion cells that form your body. Now listen to this carefully. Your body does not get sick by chance. Your body does not weaken just because. Your body becomes disconnected from love, from presence, from inner listening, from the divine intelligence that created it. All illnesses, all of them, without exception, begin with an altered code, a broken frequency, a disconnection between what you feel and what you express. And here comes the shocking part. That code can be restored. That code can be rewritten. That code can be reactivated. It doesn't matter how many years have passed. It doesn't matter if they told you this is chronic. It doesn't matter if your family had it too. It doesn't matter if doctors stated there is no solution, because the intelligence that created your cells can recreate them. The intelligence that formed your body in the womb can reconstruct it now. The intelligence that keeps every cell alive as you listen can heal what you call impossible. And that intelligence responds to one thing. You're listening. Let me explain this in a simple, yet profoundly powerful way. Your heart, that muscle beating 60 to 100 times a minute, is not just a blood pump. It is a portal, a receiver, a spiritual antenna that captures frequencies, emotions, and fields of information. The HeartMath Institute demonstrated that the heart has over 40,000 neurons, a small brain within your chest that communicates with your immune system, your nervous system, your DNA, and your spiritual energy. It is as if God hid the switch for your healing in the place you'd least suspect, your heart. But there's a detail almost no one knows. That switch is not activated by thinking, not by fighting, not by striving. It is activated by listening. When you listen with the heart, you enter a state the ancients called divine coherence, where your body finally stops defending itself and begins to remember who you are, to remember how to heal, to remember your original design, because you were not born sick. You were born light, and today you are beginning to return to it. This is the revelation. The healing you sought outside was always waiting inside, waiting for you to learn how to listen. Now, before I reveal the sacred technique that activates divine coherence in your cells, I want you to take a second, a small instant of awareness, and hear this with your heart. You're not passing through this message by chance. This is a portal, a divine movement, a spiritual door that opened for you at the exact moment. And if you have felt even a tingling, a strange peace, a soft light inside your chest, it is because your body has already begun the process. That is why I invite you to be part of this spiritual family. Here, in Napoleon Spires, every video is a seed of healing. Every word is an activation. Every message is designed to remind you, you're not broken. You are awakening. So, subscribe right now. Leave a like so this message reaches more souls who need it. And write in the comments, I allow my divine healing. Do it, because by writing it, you're giving permission to your soul to receive what is coming. And now, breathe deeply, because in the next part, I will guide you directly to the technique that can transform your body from today. Music swells gently, then softens to a deep, resonant hum. The visuals become soft, flowing light. All right, now comes the most important moment of this entire journey. I want you to find a comfortable position. No tension in the shoulders. Don't force your breathing. Don't try to do it right. Because here, it's not about technique. Here, it's about surrender. Your body already knows what to do. Close your eyes gently, not with force, as if your eyelids were surrendering to rest for the first time in a long, long while. Breathe once more, but this time, feel the air enter as light. Inhale, exhale, and allow your chest to open a little more with each breath. Now listen to my words not with your mind, but with that deep center in your chest, the place where God speaks to you without words. I want you to visualize something very simple. Imagine that your ears are not on the sides of your head, but exactly in your heart. It seems symbolic, but it is not. Your heart has neurons, memory, intuition. Your heart receives signals your mind can't even interpret. So now imagine that. Two radiant, luminous ears right in the middle of your chest, listening. And now listen to the silence. Not the silence of the environment, not the outside silence, the silence within. That silence that vibrates, that pulses, that breathes with you. That silence that is not empty, it is full of divine information. Pay attention. In that silence, there is a heartbeat. It's soft. It's deep. It is the first language you learned when you were in the womb. Feel that heartbeat, because that heartbeat is the voice of life inside you. Now allow that heartbeat to expand like circles in water. Each expansion is a signal your body recognizes. Your immune system, your cells, your DNA, everything begins to respond. Now, imagine a golden light, very soft, very warm, descending from above like a fine ray, entering through the crown of your head. You don't have to imagine it forcefully. Just allow yourself to feel it. It may feel like warmth, like tingling, or simply like peace. Let it slowly descend through your head, your throat, your chest, and arrive at your heart. When the light touches your heart, something activates. Your heart responds. It opens. It softens. It illuminates from within. Now listen. This is the exact moment your body changes frequency. This is the instant you leave survival mode and enter healing mode. This is where the old shuts off and the new awakens. I want you to repeat mentally from that illuminated heart. I listen. I receive. I allow my healing. Once more, but deeper, as if your soul were responding. I listen. I receive. I allow my healing. And now, simply allow yourself to feel. Your body is vibrating differently. Your mind is in silence. Your soul is home. This is the portal. This is the code. This is the exact point where healing begins. In a few seconds, we'll open our eyes, but your heart will not close again. Take one last deep breath and allow yourself to feel that something has already changed. Because yes, it has changed, and you know it. I want to tell you the story of someone very special. I'm not telling it to impress you. I'm telling it so you understand that this can also happen to you. A few years ago, I met a man named Michael, a family man, hardworking, responsible, noble, but carrying a pain that had accompanied him for nearly a decade. It wasn't a visible pain or a diagnosis you could see on a scan. It was a silent pain, a deep wear and tear, a sensation of fading from within. Michael had been to doctors, therapists, specialists. He had tried medications, diets, exercises, alternative therapies. And although he sometimes improved a little, nothing changed completely. But what destroyed him most wasn't the physical pain. It was the idea of becoming a burden to his family. That thought haunted him every night. One day, after one of his darkest nights, Michael looked at me and said something I will never forget. I don't know what else to do. I've tried everything, and I feel like my body no longer listens to me. I took a deep breath, looked him in the eyes, and simply said, maybe it's not your body that isn't listening. Maybe it's you who stopped listening. He frowned, confused, and then I gently guided him toward what you just practiced, the listening of the heart. I asked him to close his eyes, to stop fighting, to stop analyzing, to simply listen. The first few minutes, nothing happened. His mind was restless. His breath was tense. But then, I saw his face change. His shoulders dropped. A slight tremor ran through his chest, and a silent tear fell down his cheek. It wasn't sadness. It was remembrance. Remembrance of who he was before the pain, before the burden, before the fear. When he finished, he opened his eyes and, with a trembling voice, said, "I felt as if someone hugged me from the inside." That night, he slept deeply, something that hadn't happened in years. And upon waking, his pain had decreased almost completely. Not because something magical cured him, but because for the first time, he had stopped fighting his body and had started to listen to it. 3 months later, the symptoms that had accompanied him for a decade had disappeared completely. And Michael said something I want you to hear with your soul. Asterisk, I didn't heal when I understood. I healed when I surrendered. And you are also ready for that. Here is where I want you to be completely honest with yourself. Because even though your heart has already begun to open, your mind might still be fighting. The ego hates the simple. The effortless threatens it. Because if healing is simple, then it no longer has an excuse to keep suffering. That's why your mind whispers, "This is too easy. How can something so soft work? I need something stronger, more complex, more technical. Am I wasting my time?" Let me tell you something with love, but also with conviction. That is not you. That is your conditioning. You are trained to believe that healing is difficult, slow, expensive, or reserved for a privileged few. But the difficult part was never the healing. The difficult part was your resistance. Napoleon Hill said, "When you change your mind, you change your world." And in your case, when you change your belief about healing, you change your body. Because the mind creates tension, and tension blocks the signal from the heart. And when the heart signal is blocked, your body cannot enter the state where it repairs itself. I want you to understand something no one ever explained to you. Your body wants to heal you. Your spirit wants to free you. Your soul wants to elevate you. The only one standing in the way is the ego. The ego tells you you've tried everything. But it's not true. You tried many things to change your symptoms, but you never learned to change your frequency. You tried methods that made you do, but not methods that taught you to listen. And here comes the most important truth of this section. You do not heal by force. You heal by permission. When you stop fighting, your body changes. When you release tension, your energy reorganizes. When you allow, your soul does the rest. Now, ask yourself deeply, who would I be if pain stopped defining me? What excuse would I have to let go of if I finally healed? What life could I begin to live if I stopped holding on to my story of suffering? Breathe, feel the answer in your chest, and recognize this truth. You're not afraid to heal. You are afraid of the life you will have to accept when you heal. But you're not alone. God walks with you in this process. Your body, too, and your soul already said, yes. Now, I want you to listen with your soul to what I'm about to tell you. Because this part is not information. It is revelation. From the first day of your life, from the exact instant your spirit entered your body, a truth was written in the deepest part of you. You were designed to heal. You were created to restore yourself. You were formed to rise again. You did not come into this world to survive pain. You came to transcend it. When God imagined your existence, He did not imagine a broken body. He did not imagine a tired soul. He did not imagine a life full of fear. God imagined you whole, luminous, capable, sacred. And that part of you, the divine part, the eternal part, the part that knows who you truly are, has never been sick. Listen to this with your heart, not your mind. Your spirit does not know pain. Your essence does not know illness. Your divine self does not know limits. Illness, weariness, anguish are human experiences. Transitory, temporary. But what dwells within you transcends any diagnosis. That is why, when you enter silence, when you listen from the heart, when you allow the light to touch you, you are not learning something new. You are remembering who you are, remembering where you come from, remembering that your origin is light, and light always returns to itself. I want you to imagine something. In front of you, a few meters away, there's a version of you that is completely healthy. It has no fear, no pain, no wounds. That version looks at you with deep love and extends its hand toward you, not to push you, to guide you. That is your soul. That is your destiny. That is your original design, waiting for you to say the word that activates everything. Yes, Because when you say yes, when you give permission, when you accept your divine nature, healing stops being a desire and becomes a promise fulfilled. And that promise begins today. Music builds to a gentle, luminous crescendo. The screen fills with soft, golden light. I want you to return for a moment to that soft state of inner silence, that place where your heart listens and your soul responds. Breathe deeply, very deeply, and as you inhale, feel something descending from above. Because now comes the final activation. Imagine a golden light, radiant, pure, warm, descending slowly over you like a ray sent from above. This light has a specific frequency, 528 Hz. The frequency of love. The frequency of DNA repair. The frequency that reorganizes what was once broken. Let this light enter through the crown of your head and descend. Glide down with it. Feel how it travels through your mind, cleansing old thoughts. Feel how it passes through your throat, releasing words you never said. Feel how it arrives at your heart, and there it expands. Your chest fills with warmth, with relief, with peace. Now, imagine that light, like a golden river, travels through your arms, your abdomen, your back, your legs, until it reaches the tips of your toes. Every cell receives a new message. You are light. You are life. You are healing. Allow your body to repeat mentally. I allow my healing. I receive my restoration. I return to my light. Once more, but deeper. I return to my light. Feel it. The change is happening now. Not tomorrow. Not later. Now. Music softens to a gentle, sustaining hum. The visual is a soft glow around a silhouette of a person in meditation. Before we finish, I want you to place your hand over your heart and feel that heartbeat that now vibrates differently. Because what you experienced today was not imagination. It was not suggestion. It was not chance. It was activation. Your soul remembered. Your body responded. And your light reignited. From this moment on, every breath will be deeper. Every thought will be clearer. Every cell will be more luminous. You are part of a generation of souls awakening to their original design. To heal, to shine, to expand. And if this message touched something within you, if you felt warmth, peace, tears, vibration, or relief, I invite you to do something powerful. Write in the comments, I allow my divine healing. That comment is a decree. It is your soul saying yes. It is your heart signing the permission. And if you're not yet part of this spiritual family, subscribe right now to Napoleon Inspires. Here, every video is an activation. Every message is a guide. Every word is a reminder of who you truly are. Leave your like. Share this message with someone who needs it. And listen to it again as many times as your heart asks. Your healing has already begun. And what God started in you today, He will complete. Napoleon Inspires.